Well, we are down to the final stretch in the PVL Invitational Conference, and two foreign teams have joined the playing field. Now, let's get to know Japan's Kurashiki, Ablaze, and Vietnam's Kim Bac-Bac and find out about the athletes to watch out for this week. Jamie Lavatoria joins us here. Jamie, this is an interesting twist, as it always is, with the foreign teams coming on. You got a chance to watch them in their first matchup against each other. What were your first impressions for both these teams?
Well, the first set was extremely close, and in the last three sets, Japan was able to sweep away. They had less unforced errors compared to Kim Bac-Bac, and I have to commend the libero of Kurashiki, Ablaze. She had 31 digs and receptions, and the confidence that they have. Japan is known for their defense and their great self-ball control, so it really showed in that match.
Well, what kind of, each team has a personality, right? Regardless of whether they're local teams, you always look at that when it comes to foreign teams, whether it's a SEA Games or any other, or VNL for that matter. What do you see between the two teams, the Vietnamese team and the Japan team?
Well, looking at the Japanese team, they're always smiling, and it kind of reminded me of Risa Sato from the Creamline Cool Smashers. And on the Vietnamese team, they're a little bit more serious. I was watching their timeouts. We didn't get to understand what the coach was actually saying, but based on his body language, you can see that he's very serious, not smiling compared to the Japanese team.
I would be very surprised if you understood what was being said in the huddle of either of these teams, to be quite honest. But then, Jamie, you take a look at the effect this could have on the local scene. Of course, playing new opponents, different styles of play. Just how good is that for the local squads in the PVL?
I believe it's really a treat to go against these international teams, because at the end of the day, it's only a loss if you don't learn. And I'm sure that each PVL team is going to get a little dose of each international teams of what they can pick up. And when you play against good teams like the Japanese team and Vietnamese team, you actually become a better player because you're exposed to a different environment and a different system.
Okay, speaking of Japan, they just won.
Yep.
Yes,
Right? Against the Cignal. So they go 2-0 in the semifinals. In that first game, Tamaru Osaka was 29-point scorer right off the bat. But also it was their defense, Jamie. It seemed like the ball just wouldn't go down on them, especially in that first set when the crowd was still in it.
Yes.
Take me through what you saw in that match.
In that match, like you just said, Boom, the ball does not drop. The play keeps going, and that just goes to show the effort that is shown on the system of the Japanese. They never let the ball drop. And in terms of ball control, because the players had 29 points, it's because the first ball and the defense is stabilized.
Well, you know what? We have games every day this week except for Wednesday.
Correct.
And there's a lot of players that we have to watch out for because there's already developing storylines for each of these teams. Now, let's go to F2 in particular first. Not a great start to the semifinals. In fact, very disappointing considering how their first semifinal game went and then the sweep last time around. Abby Maraño's one you have to watch out for, according to you. Why so?
Yes. Well, because of the absence of KKD, the captain, Abby Maraño, really needs to step up, not in terms of points, but also as a leader. You could see in their last match against PLDT, they kind of looked fatigued, based, of course, on the schedule for the Invitational Conference. But I noticed during that match, when I covered that game, you can see Abby Maraño on the sideline cheering her team on, and I think she needs that. They need that energizer, that boost that KKD usually gives on the court.
And she also just posted that it's not over yet.
Yes.
That they're still going on, and they're going in for another win, and they're playing tomorrow.
Yes.
One of the foreign teams, right? Okay. CCS doing very well, obviously unbeaten here in the Invitational. That machine is running well. 2 5-setters, physically and emotionally draining, and at the center of it all is Gia de Guzman.
Yes, I chose Gia because when you look at the stat sheets, you look at the triple threat. I call it the triple threat. You have Eliza Valdez, who is at her peak form. I have to say the phenom is back. Tots Carlos and Gemma Galanza. But behind every good spiker is a great setter, I have to say, and that's Gia de Guzman. She orchestrates the offense beautifully. And she's a thinking setter, and what I mean by that is she looks at the blockers on the other side of the opponent. And if you notice in the past game, her sets are much faster to the open, and I believe it's a strategy as they face the foreign teams.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how she actually adapts to, again, different opposition for sure. Cignal lost today, and you want to mention Jove Gonzaga, and I feel that taking a look at the numbers from today's game, only 33 attack points for Cignal compared to Kurashiki Ablaze's 51. Jove Gonzaga has to be a big part of it in boosting their numbers in terms of attack points. Just why did you highlight her for the rest of the semis?
I highlighted her because it's her first time playing indoor after a very long time, and because of her beach volley skills, she's able to not help and execute in the scoring department, but in terms of digging and surface receive. And I've noticed they always target her.
They do. I was just about to say.
They target her, maybe strategy to maybe tire her out. But I know that she can overcome that based on the experience that she has.
And that's also from the preliminaries.
Yes.
One last quick point. PLDT is coming up next against the Vietnamese team. Kat Arado is the important player for you.
I chose Kat Arado because of her, not only her 20 excellent digs in the past few games, but because of, if you look at her during the game, during the rally and in between the rally, she talks to each player, and that's a sign of a good thinking libero. She actually, if you look at them on the court, her point of view is different from the spikers, so she can actually see the opposite, the opponent. So she tells them during the rallies, okay, go down the line, go for that drop ball, and she's constantly talking during the game.
Thinking and a leader, libero for PLDT, who are coming up next against Kinh, Bac-Bac. Hey, here's a look at the PVL games happening tomorrow also, July 25 at the Phil Sports Arena. Vietnam's Kinh Bac-Bac will see action against the defending champions Creamline Cool Smashers. That's at 4 p.m. And as we mentioned, 6:30 p.m. the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers will face Japan's Kurashiki Ablaze. Catch the PVL live and on demand for just 99 pesos a month on the Pilipinas Live app, available for download on Google Play or the App Store. Thank you very much, Jamie La Victoria, for guesting tonight.